Well, hey there, it's Elke.
And Jen, and welcome to another episode of the Creative and Ambitious Entrepreneur Podcast. And in this episode, we are going to be talking to you about how you can earn your first $1,000 on the platform Zazzle.
We're really excited to get into this. Don't forget to get pause the video or audio for a minute, get a pen and paper, because there's a lot of information in this episode, including some numbers, just to get you really interested in understanding how you can get to that $1,000. It's not just sort of placating high-level stuff that we're going to talk about, so let's get started.
Yeah. So the first point that we want to cover is that what is Zazzle and how you can make money on the platform. If you are a brand new listener and you don't know what Zazzle is, it is a print-on-demand platform where Elke and myself have been working on it since 2007, 2008 to build our online businesses to make money online passively. And it is a print-on-demand platform, like I mentioned, which means that you are able to open up a store and then sell products online that are only made when the customer orders them. And so we've talked a lot about the benefits of Zazzle in multiple other podcasts. So if you're into
love Zazzle.
Yeah. So basically the end point is that Zazzle is a wonderful platform that you can use to make money online passively. And we have been very successful at it. And now we teach people how to make money online using the platform. And so in terms of how you can make money with Zazzle is that you open up a store and an account, and then you post products for sale. You don't have to be creative or know anything in terms of tech background or whatever. You can start your store today and start posting your products for sale. And then when you sell a product to a customer, you earn a royalty, which means that you're earning basically, as soon as you post a product for sale, you earn a percentage of that product because Zazzle...
When it sells.
Yeah, when it sells, because Zazzle prints the product, then they ship the product, they deal with customer service, etc. And so you earn a royalty for selling one of your designs on one of their products. And so we have now been extremely successful at it, but in our first couple of years, which you'll hear more about Elke's earnings history, we obviously had to learn how to make money online with Zazzle, and there was obvious a progression. It is what we like to call a slow end game, where we're building up a business that will stick with us for the long run, rather than get a quick rich. It's not a quick rich It's not a get-rich-quick scheme,
Yeah.
but we are building a business that will last for many years to come, potentially. And as I mentioned, Elke and I have been on Zazzle since 2007, so 14 years now to this day. We are,
it's unbelievable. It's great, huh?
And so we want everyone who's listening, if you are starting out on Zazzle or thinking about starting, then this is a potential opportunity for you to have a business many years to come in the future. Yes. Mm-hmm. So that is what Zazzle is, and that is how you can make money online with Zazzle.
Mm-hmm. So Jen mentioned royalties, which is basically you're licensing your designs to the platform, right? And so if it sells, then Zazzle's paying you a royalty as part of their cost of production and selling. And that's how we benefit as sellers on the platform, and that give extra incentive for sellers to also help Zazzle sell more products. You also can be a referrer or an affiliate of the whole platform, so you can actually sell a whole bunch of other things, not just your own. But they've made it even a better incentive, which is obviously the case in terms of us being able to promote our own products. So we're getting 35% if we promote and sell our own products, and 15% if we sell someone else's products. So that's in addition to the royalty. So ultimately you can make something even as much as 45% or more of the actual sale of the product that can be paid out to you as Zazzle sells it. And even as Jen said, they take care of everything else. So it's really nice when you get this paycheck that's basically almost 45 to more % of the actual sale of the product that just goes right into your pocket. That's how we enjoy such high earnings. And so we want to go into that today in terms of helping you understand that in more detail with some examples of some products. But Jen mentioned that first you're going to hear a little bit more about my earnings history. And it was a really tough go at first, because when Jen and I started back in 2007, first of all, in 2007, we barely took notice of it. We just signed up and barely made any money. And then, basically $90. But then we started thinking, okay, well, I've got to get this going. What's the point of putting the effort in if you can't get it to work. And this is why this episode's so important to us, because it's that first cracking of the code. It's not, like how do you make a gazillion dollars on Zazzle? It's how you make the first 1,000 or even the first 100, because that's the most important, because that sets up your business for success in the long run. And so for me, in 2008, I only made $2,300 and I think it was $2,380. I've got written here in my notes $2,300, but it's like etched in my mind because wow, I'd worked 2 years on Zazzle and I'd made $90 in my first year and $2,300 in my second year, and it's like ouch. And I realized though that what I was doing was exactly what everyone else that is in that boat is doing. Is I thought I could just do it myself, throw spaghetti against the wall. I thought I knew exactly what I needed to do in order to just make a gazillion dollars on Zazzle. And then I just crawled into my corner in shame and disgust, because I thought, for 2 years I was working terribly hard on this, lots of hours, and crickets. And so when I got to that point, I realized, okay, I have to treat this as a business, not a hobby. And I need business skills. I need to figure out what other people who are successful on the platform are doing. And unfortunately, there wasn't anyone who was teaching any of that. And so I looked outside of the Zazzle platform. I looked at how do you run a proper business? What do you need to do? And that's when I realized that I wasn't running it at all like a business. I was just hoping that all my hard work would pay off, but I had no idea how to be a business owner. I was really creative, and like you've heard this story before, but if you're brand new to us, then we want to make sure you get the whole spiel. And it's not made up. It's exactly what happened to us, and we are so grateful that it happened, but also frustrated that it took so long for us to figure it out. Mm-hmm. And luckily now that our clients that get taught our 5 strategies, they get to figure it out much faster and do better much quicker. But even though we can't make any income claim statements because not everyone does as well. But yeah, obviously when I went from that the first 2 years, and then I got some training and figured out, okay, this is what I'm going to change and modify. And as Jen said, it was a slow process. It didn't happen in 1 month. It happened over the course of a whole year. But then in my third year, I made $37,000. So that was a huge jump from $2,300 to $37,000. And at that point I realized, yeah, things are working out. This is really the way to go. So even though I didn't make like $1,000 in the first jump when I knew what I was doing, I kind of made stuff, but really worked hard in that first year. Now, if you get to if you want to make your first 1,000, just follow the business strategies that we teach, and then that will help you get there quicker rather than it taking 3 years. And make sure that you realize though that even though my numbers are going to be different than yours, and the people that we talk about, every single one of them that has been through our program and our coaching, they're all different. So for example, Christine and Brandon, they've both now hit over $350,000 in lifetime earnings as of the date of this recording of the podcast, but they got to it differently. Christine made $3,800 in her first year, and Brendan made $10,000 in his first year using our 5 strategies. Whereas, others are not even making as much, or some made, I don't know, I think we've promised not to say to some, about some other people that have made more in their first year because they wanted to be kept private. But yeah, it's the 5 strategies that are working out for them. And so think about how do you make your first 1,000, and it doesn't have to be in 1 year. It can be in a couple of months, which is awesome, right? Okay, so to continue my journey, to give everyone the numbers, I then made $50,000 in 2010, $67,000 in 2011, and these are the numbers I made per year, right? Not added on. And then from 2012 onwards, I made about over $100,000. And so that's the story. And I did that for a consecutive 6 years. Then there were some family issues. My husband passed away. A couple of other things happened. So the nice part, which we're going to talk about a little bit more, but this is probably the first time we're talking about this in a podcast, is that once it was set up at $100,000 and was earning nicely, it was actually getting closer to $200,000 a year. And then my husband passed away. What both Jen and I had was a really set up, well set up business on the Zazzle platform. And so when these things happened to us where we just couldn't physically go on to Zazzle, we realized that we'd set it up so much that we didn't even have to work, because actually we didn't, and the income kept coming in. Even though it started to go down a little bit, the income kept coming in, and it was really lovely to have that buffer and know that if we needed to, we could just step away and it would still be working for us while we weren't working in the business. And we are going to put some episodes together for that down the road, but we do teach that in our Profit by Design Academy in terms of how to set it up with the 5 strategies, and then we really get into it in the 7-figure seller mastermind that we now have. That's our newest version of the Creative CEO Mastermind, and we're excited. We're going to roll that out very soon, and this is not a pitch for that, but just to get you to understand that we're here for the long term, whether it's us on Zazzle, because we're still on Zazzle and we're still earning money, or also for anyone else who's joining our community. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme, as Jen said. So be here for the long run if you want to make money, but boy, it can be really lucrative if you stick around and do the right stuff so that it's all set up for you. And so luckily now, between the two of us, we've made over $1.5 million on the Zazzle platform over the last 14 years. It's exciting. If you want to do the math, it's about $100,000 a year. Some of it went to Jen, some of it went to me, and it's really exciting because even though we made only $90 in our first year and $2,300 in my second year, I that over the course of the last couple of years, I've always had a 6-figure income, which is awesome. And how can you even imagine that in many platforms or many online businesses? And so it's really, really exciting. Okay, but you have to start at the beginning and you have to get that first 1,000, and then that gives you a really good sense of how you can exponentially increase it later. Do you want to add something before we get into numbers? Okay, so what we've done in this podcast, if you're listening, this is where you get the pen and paper out, because we're going to go through some numbers, and we want to make sure that you get you keep up with everything, because it really is doing the analysis, which is strategy number 5 in our 5 strategies, where you're looking at how can you run a business and make the money, right? When we start on Zazzle, most of us, even us, the first 2 years, we were like, I want to make $1 million. And then we just started working. But we didn't have a plan. We didn't have a strategy to understand what it took in order to get that million. So let's do that today and get you to the first 1,000, all right? Okay, so let's get started here. Remember I told you about the royalty? What we've done consistently, and we advise our clients as well, is set your royalty at around 10%. You can go maybe as high as 14.99, because after 15, when you set it to 15, you start getting a bit of clawback from the Zazzle, like the user agreement set up that way. But you can do the math. It's really not a big deal. But to be competitive and sell well and still be profitable, 10% is a really great place to start your royalty. And then obviously there's exceptions but we don't need to get into that right now. We want to just do the math at 10%, and that also works out really well as in addition to that. And then obviously this is all rounded up for the examples, just so you know, we're not trying to make it completely accurate. So just no one put a comment about but Elke, it's point something else because of this and this and the user agreement. We just want to do some simple math, and this is where creatives get hung up, and then they're stuck there. And sometimes we even we did this as well. We got really frustrated that maybe Zazzle was taking a little bit percentage off, so we're going to manipulate it and make it 14.99% or something like that. Just look at the bigger picture and make sure that you understand that we're also dealing with not just getting paid, but also making it lucrative for the customer to buy without being bargain basement, so that they appreciate what we are delivering as a service to them, our designs, and that they are also realizing that it's good quality, right? Because price also indicates quality, not just basement bargain discounts, right? Because then you're getting lesser quality, and you want customers to return to you and look out for you and refer you to other people. And so all of those things make the 10% a really good price point, because it always gets added on to the base price of the Zazzle product. And so you want to not outprice yourself out of the market, and also just not go so basement bargain that you're making the sale, but you're really not making any royalty and money anyway. Okay. Okay, so let's break this down, and we wanted to do it with some products that weren't so obvious as selling on Zazzle, because people come to the Zazzle marketplace and they think, oh, t-shirts, mugs, that's it, or invitations, and I don't do weddings, right? That's the usual thing that we hear from people. And the marketplace is so vast and so big, and so many different people come to the marketplace with different needs and desires, that it's absolutely crucial that you don't peg-hole yourself into, oh, I can't do this because that's what sells on Zazzle, because that's not true. Everything sells on Zazzle. You just either have to create a little bit more of a market for it, or you just have to label your things properly so that that market that's looking can actually find it, okay? So, but we are going to play around with the t-shirt, because that's what people normally think, that they have to sell t-shirts. And how many t-shirts do you need, right? All of these print-on-demand companies have been doing this for years, so like a gazillion, billion t-shirts are on somewhere in, someone's body or in a landfill. So think about things other than t-shirts as well. But we're going to start with a t-shirt just so everyone's happy, and then we're going to go into the rest. So let's do some examples. Do you want to say any of these? Or?
Oh, you go for it, because you can see them. Yeah.
Okay, so a t-shirt on around that 10% sells for $20. On Zazzle, that means you make, and I'm just playing with the math here. Like if we set, that's the set price that's on Zazzle, so it means that the base is lower, but I'm just looking at the numbers again, making it completely simple, because that's all you need to do as creatives. Just do the basics, right? That actually is the most important. The more you get involved, it gets complex and it doesn't make any sense. So really just what we're going to do is say average t-shirt costs $20. Your royalty is 10%, so you're going to make $2. And so if you divide that into 1,000, right, because we want to make $1,000, and we're not talking a first month or first week, we're just saying, how do we get to our first 1,000 in earnings on the Zazzle marketplace? So this is all set up like that. And so you'd have to sell 500 t-shirts at some point. So when you get to 500 t-shirts in sales, you've made $1,000 because of the math, right? Okay, so let's take some other things. A baseball, for example, which is kind of fun because they do sell baseballs. They sell all kinds of sports equipment, like balls of sorts, like ping pong, golf, whatever. And so baseball, especially now that we're getting closer to Father's Day, this episode might even air during Father's Day, just a little bit before, right? So now, at least in Canada, then the baseball retails for $32. Your royalty at 10% will be $3.2, so $3.20. And then you have to sell, if you divide $3.20 into $1,000, you're going to have to sell 312 baseballs. It's a lot of baseballs, right? Mm-hmm. But it's possible, especially around Father's Day. Okay, banner, that's the next one we want to go into, something a little higher priced. So that's $52 retail. And so the royalty at 10% would be $5.20. So that's a little bit higher than the baseball. So now if you divide that into 1,000, then you're going to get 192 banners that you have to sell. So if you said, I'm just doing banners, I can do it in multiple niches, that's great. But if I need to make $1,000, I have to sell 192 banners. The last one is the cornhole set, and that's retailed at average price $274. So you'd make $27.50, which is a lot nicer, isn't it? So one sale of a cornhole set is 10 times, if not 10 and a bit times, of what you would make with selling a t-shirt. So that makes things a little easier. Now, t-shirts sell more in bulk than cornhole sets, but in the meantime, you don't have to gather that many customers, right? You can have one customer buy something and you've all of a sudden eliminated the need to have so many more customers come to buy a t-shirt so that you get that same dollar value, right? You've increased your, decreased your need of customers by 10% or 10 times, right? So now if you wanted to divide the 27 into 1,000, you would have to sell 37 cornhole sets in order to make your first 1,000. And actually that's pretty possible. So many of our clients have said, I've sold another cornhole set, I've sold another cornhole set.
Yeah.
And yeah, well, they're there in the marketplace. Go put something on those and start selling. But The thing that is now the most important that gets you to your 1,000 faster is to remember that you also get a referral. The referral that we want to focus on here in this podcast is the referral that's a self-referral. So you're now making your products, putting them on, like you're designing them, you put them into your store on Zazzle, and then you can just leave them there and let them sell in the marketplace because you've labeled them properly and their SEO is good so people can find them. This is how that example worked. But then now if you want to, you can also externally promote them on Pinterest, Google, like Facebook, Instagram, wherever else, Twitter, whatever you want to do, or on your own blog or website. And if you do that and you link it properly, because you have to, it's going to be an affiliate link, right? A referral. And so then if people come from those links that you've sort of putting it out into the universe on the interweb, I keep making a joke because I'm almost 60 and so that didn't even exist a while back. But yeah, if you promote then, and the customer clicks on your link, and not only if they buy anything, like they don't have to buy the product or that you got them to Zazzle with, as long as they have your link on, like the way that it's set up. I don't have to go into those details, but as long as you got them to go from an external link that was yours to a property that's yours on Zazzle, either a product, a collection, a store, a category, anything that belongs to you in the Zazzle realm, and then they buy anything from you, then you get 35%, which is really fun. And that adds to the 10% royalty or whatever you set your royalty at. So now this is where this 45 or more percent comes in, and boy, does that change the game. Okay, so let's do some math again with those examples, and I'll show you how it just brings down that number really quickly. Do you want to do any of these?
Well, it's easy. You're easy to do them because you can read them and do the math. So, but
All right, I'll take one more drink here for a minute. Do you have anything to add in a minute?
No. Well, I think a lot of people realize now when they're listening to this that they have to work really hard based on certain products that they're selling in their Zazzle store. A lot of our clients think that they can just put up random products to sell and that somehow magically they will get to a certain amount of money and or earnings. And so it's perfectly logical for some people to think that it is possible to sell or that they will make money, let's say when they put t-shirts in their store. I'm not saying that you're not going to sell t-shirts, but to sell 500 t-shirts in bulk to make that $1,000, it takes a lot more effort. And so having Elke explain the numbers here probably gave you a lot of insight into what you are able and capable of selling and how you can actually make it easier for yourself. Because a lot of our clients, before they first come into our community, they have struggled on Zazzle to get to that first $1,000, but it's literally because they don't have the products available for the people to buy them, right? And or they have certain products that make it a lot harder for them to reach that $1,000 in the end term.
More work. Yeah, and as when you hear our podcasts and you come into our community, we always want you to work smarter, not harder, and this is one of the examples, right? So if you say, I only sell t-shirts or anything else that's a lower price point, for example, then you're not going to get there as fast because the probability of selling is it's a certain probability. And then if you have the higher priced items in there as well, the probability of selling is still the same, right? It may be a little bit less because not everyone's going to buy, a cornhole set every week, but there's a lot of people out there who want a cornhole set, and if you don't have that in your store as an option, then you don't have that opportunity to make 10 times as many dollars as you would with a t-shirt with that one customer, right? And that's how you start to become more profitable as well. And if you, like as Jen said, if you want to sell all of those t-shirts, you'll probably have to have multiple different designs, different colors, different shapes and sizes, like for kids and for women and for, the sweatshirt, tank top, all of those different types of things in order to really meet the need of all these different customers so that you can sell that huge bulk number. Whereas maybe you just want to put up 10 cornhole sets, and then even though the frequency might be a little bit less in terms of what you think might be selling, but you could sell those all within 1 week if you wanted to. So it's just interesting to look at it from the perspective of how will I make that money rather than just what will people buy. Okay, so let's move into the royalty part, which just really adds a lot of, it's like mind-blowing in terms of what changes in terms of the effort, because we're always looking at what effort do we need to put in to make the sale. And the less we have to sell to make the same amount of money means that it's less effort on our part, right? We have to make less products. We have to do less research. We have to, promote less because the products are less and the niches are less. And yeah, just everything gets shut down while our profits increase. Okay, so let's do that. Let's go back into the t-shirt, the baseball, the banner, and the cornhole set and just give you the numbers. And it'll just write them down and rewind this if you need to, because I'm just going to go fast. All right, so the $20 t-shirt with a $2 royalty is now going to have $7 referral as well. And the way you work that out is you just take your $20 and you multiply by 0.35, which is 35%, and that's how you get your $7, okay? So that's how you're going to get all the referrals. I don't have to explain that again. So then you add the 2 for the 10% and the 7 for the referral at the 35%, and then you're going to make $9 total on that one t-shirt sale rather than 2. And so now you divide $9 into 1,000, which means that you only have to sell 111 t-shirts instead of 500. Okay? Oh, this is where I love this. Okay, so let's do the baseball. $32 for the retail, $3.20 royalty, but the referral will give you $11.20. So total, you'll make $14.40. So you won't have to sell 312 baseballs. You'll only have to sell 69. Okay, and the math is always the same. Okay, so a banner, $52 retail, $5.20 royalty, $18.20 referral, nice, and then so that's total $23.40, and you'll only have to sell 43 banners rather than 192. Okay, last one, cornhole set, $274 retail, $27.50 royalty, $95.90 referral, so for a total of $123.40 in total earnings. So all you have to do is sell 8 cornhole sets and you have made $1,000 rather than selling 37.
That's amazing.
All right, so now you can see how your first 1,000 can come a lot easier. And that's it. That's all I've got to say, and that summarizes everything. Hopefully that makes it very clear, because if there's a tip from today, do the numbers, figure out the sales, and go like, I need something at a higher price. We picked the cornhole set, and something at a mid price. We picked the banner, and then you keep going down. But if you have a nice variety of products that meet certain requirements that Zazzle customers are looking for on the Zazzle marketplace, then the chance of selling those have now been really set up well. But also in terms of the numbers, the chance of you getting to 1,000 is a lot better if what you do is you create really intentional good products and you do a really good job of promoting, so that then you get 45% or more of the entire sale of the product, and that reduces your effort of trying to sell to so many customers greatly. And that way you can get to your first 1,000 much quicker. So thank you so much for listening and watching, and we will see you in the next episode.
Bye.